You're with Karen, accentuating the positive on FM 99.3. And I have with me on the phone awesome, authentic Jennie Gorman, the People Connector. Good morning, Jennie. How are you?
Very well, thanks, Karen, and thank you for speaking with me this morning.
Oh, you're most welcome. And Jennie is just launching a new book called Awesome Authenticity, Mastering Business Relationships. So we're talking all about authenticity today, and Jennie's the perfect person to talk to. When did you start writing this book, and why did you write it, Jennie?
I've been a writer for many years and writing articles. I first started writing my very first book, which I haven't even done anything with, about 25 years ago. But this particular book, the collection of my writings that I've compiled together into a book, I've been teaching people how to be real and authentic in their business relationship building now for many, many years, and started teaching it about 23 years ago.
Yeah.
And for me, it's all about people being real and authentic and showing who they are and being successful through that real and authentic self.
Oh, look, I think it's such a great message, because I think that people are more tapped into their intuition than they give themselves credit for. And when you meet someone who's real, you feel it. And when you meet someone who has a big smile on their face and they're just trying to sell you something, you feel it.
Of course.
And I think that today, more than anything, authenticity is just so important in business. So important in business.
Well, business is very different today to what it used to be. I don't believe there's any difference between anyone's personal life and their business life.
Yeah.
And I think this is something that corporations are now even starting to get, because if people aren't being who they really are, their bottom line is being affected.
Yes.
So they're taking more interest in who their people are now, because they realise that who you are is who you are.
Yeah.
And people, I believe, they buy you because they trust you.
Yes.
They don't buy your product or your service, firstly.
It's so funny that we're having this conversation. I was out to dinner with the girls the other night, and I have a girlfriend who has a furniture shop. She moved back into the city. She was living in the country for years, and she's not into Facebook or marketing. She's just a beautiful soul who has a great eye for furniture. So she's opened up this furniture shop, and I saw her on Facebook, and I was telling her the beauty of being on Facebook if you've got a business. And she's like, I don't understand any of that Facebook stuff. And I said, well, you've got to say who you are, because she's just got the name of the shop and a few chairs there. And I said, people buy you. They buy you, they buy your story. If you're a friend, if they feel like you're a friend, they go to your shop because, oh, my friend, I'm going to her shop. And I was saying all this to her the other night at dinner, and she was looking at me strangely. She didn't understand this whole concept of being authentic and putting the personal into business.
Yes, I think this is something that is very new to a lot of people. I started a business in 1989 called My Connections, and it was a personal development natural therapy centre.
Right.
And initially I was working from home and then went into a centre. When I started to get 300 people walking through my house a week, I decided that was enough. So I then opened up my place, and it was called My Connections because that was my business name.
Yeah.
And now I am Connexions Unlimited, which I changed in 1995. But the reason I changed it, because I wanted people to say, I'm going to My Connections, and they kept saying, I'm going to Jennie's Connections.
Uh-huh.
And I kept saying, no, it's yours. This is your tribe. This is your community.
Yes.
You have to own it.
Yes.
But it was too early back then. People didn't get the concept of community the same way as they are now.
Yeah.
And I think, social media is what's given people that ability to start understanding community, because this is what was the norm once.
Absolutely.
This is what is the norm in Indigenous cultures.
Yep.
But we don't get it.
Yeah.
The Westerners are only just starting to get it and understand. And I believe we have to go back to community.
Yes, I was going to say, well, we're starting to get it, Jennie.
We are starting. It's very slow. I have 4 different communities I run.
Yeah,
because they're all different for different people.
Right.
So I run different events and have different meetup groups, because different people wanting different things. So I believe in covering right across the spectrum, because that's me. I have the energy to do it. So I find it easy because that's who my profile is.
You sound like a busy girl.
I am. I work usually 7 days a week, 16 to 18 hours a day.
And you love it.
I love it.
And it keeps you energized.
Well, yes, because I'm an extrovert, I'm energized by people, not whereas an introvert will energize themselves.
Yep.
So even though I do love doing the introvert bit and closing my door and seeing no one for days and not talking to anyone, I'm an extrovert naturally, and I love people.
Yeah,
and I say to people, if you don't like people, don't go out there networking. Because people will see you don't like people.
That's it. That's it.
So, and it's all about being totally authentic, I believe, in everything you do, everything you say, and allowing other people without any judgment to be who they are.
Yes, that's right. Now, the book writing process, for someone who, as you say, who's an extrovert and who loves being out there amongst it, sitting and writing must have been a bit of a challenge for you. Did you find that a little bit challenging?
I love it.
Tell me the process.
I just sit and it comes. Quite often I will wake up with it or during the night. I do writing at night.
Yeah.
In the dark. I have perfected a way of writing in the dark so it's readable the next morning.
Okay.
I get my best thoughts in the middle of the night. If I've got to write difficult letters or anything, I get everything I need to say in that state, I suppose, of semi-consciousness. It comes to me because I would never think to do that in my awake state. And that's how the book came about, actually.
Yes. Gertrude
contacted me and said, I want your book. I want it now. Send me your bio and send me a photo. And if you think of a name, send that too. So I sent the photo and the bio to her in that evening. And the next morning I woke up with the name, Awesome Authenticity. So I bounced out of bed, came down and started writing. And I actually wrote that particular morning, I wrote on vision. And I'd had a lot of my things that I was going to consider putting in the book, and I thought, no, I need another chapter. Because for me, it's all about people knowing their why. Why are you here? What's your reason for being on earth? I talk a lot about this in the book. It's what's your reason? What's your purpose? What's your legacy? I run mastermind groups, and that's what it's all about, is teaching people to be authentic, be honest, be truthful, be who you are, stand in your power, and know why you're here.
That's really interesting. I think that the why, when you ask people why they're here on earth, that might be a bit big for a lot of people. A lot of people go, I don't know why. But if you say to people, why do you do what you do? That's a different thing. Like, why do you do what you do? And getting clear about why you do what you do is where that authenticity comes from,
yes,
I think.
Does it make your heart sing?
Does it make your heart sing?
If your heart doesn't sing, you're not doing what you're meant to be doing.
That's right. Most people don't know that because they're so caught up with I've got to do this to pay the bills.
Well, I think that's another mindset. I find that when I'm working with people, I probably come from my mastermind groups are all about finding your why, having your purpose. Last year I had 4 people who actually closed their businesses in the first 3 months and started their passion.
Really?
And they're all flying.
Right.
Because they're doing what makes them passionate. As a small business owner, you can't do it continually and do the long hours you have to do if you don't love what you do. You'll burn out.
Yes, that's
and
right.
I'm an expert at that. I've burnt out 6 times.
Have you?
So I can tell everyone how you don't go there and how you do go there.
But only 6, Jenny, only 6 times.
Only 6, and I'm not going to do it again. I've had my fair share. I hope I've learned all the lessons. I do have another book, and I've got 40 chapters of my life on my experiences where I've learned. So,
and what are you going to call that book, Jenny?
I'm not really sure yet. It'll be about what I learned in different chapters of my life.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of experiences. I've lost my short-term memory for 18 months. I've ended up in wheelchairs.
Wow.
I've ended up in lots of surgery. I've been bailed out many times.
Wow.
So for me, there's always a lesson there. I believe there's a lesson in everything you do in life. I believe every person you meet, there's a reason.
Yes.
If you really look at life for what life is and what you're meant to be doing and how you can do it, you'll be authentic. You can't help but be authentic.
Yeah, yeah. Brené Brown is coming down under. Do you know who Dr. Brené Brown is?
No, I don't.
She did a TED talk about authenticity, about the willingness to be vulnerable, about vulnerability. And she's coming down to Australia. Oprah saw it and has had her on her Super Soul Sunday.
Yeah.
She's fabulous. You'll have to go and look at it. But she talks about how we're all so scared of being authentic because we don't want to seem vulnerable. We don't want people to see the mistakes that we make. And authenticity is all about saying, hey, I'm human too and I've made all these mistakes, but gee, look what I learned from it.
This is what life is about.
Yeah.
You're only going to learn if you make mistakes. And usually it's through pain because this is what human beings tend to only get it. If life is cruisy, you don't learn. We have to have experiences that hurt us for whatever reason so that we learn the lesson, because when it hurts enough, we'll do something about it.
Yeah, that's right. When it hurts enough, we'll stop the pain. That's it.
And
Yeah.
as human beings, we don't understand that. So this is why people take so long to get the message, because it's still not hurting enough.
Now, Jenny, what would you say to somebody who comes to you and says, okay, so you say live my passion and be authentic, but I don't know what I'm passionate about? What would you say to that person?
I would start off talking about the things they do, what they love doing, what life is for them. And eventually, when somebody is talking their passion, you see it, their eyes change, their expression changes, a smile will come on their face. And then we'll say, well, we can make a business out of that. Is this what you really want to do? Is this what makes your heart sing? Is this what gives you that warm and fuzzy feeling and you want to scream it to the world?
Yeah, yeah. So if you're speaking to somebody that says, I have nothing that gives me that, the only thing that gives me that is
there is something.
My children, for instance. That
well, then you'd find out why. What is it in your children that give you that?
Mm-hmm.
What is missing in your life that you don't have in your life now that it's only around your children?
And you think people can make a business, once they identify that, they can make a business out of that?
I believe they can if this is what they want to do. I don't believe everyone is an entrepreneur, and I don't believe everyone should have their own business.
No.
If you're doing your passion, it's not about the money.
Yeah.
You have to have the money to live, and I said this to a group of people yesterday when I was giving a talk. I said you have to have the money, but if it's not your passion, you won't take the bad times. You won't survive the bad times.
Yeah.
So if it's what you love to do, you could do whether you get paid or you don't get paid. Give me $1 billion today, my life will be no different. I'll probably give it away anyway.
Yeah.
Because I love what I do, and because it's what makes my heart sing. I get out of bed, can't wait to get into my office. I am here till very rarely leave before midnight, 1 o'clock, but I'm back here very early in the morning.
Yes.
Because I love what I do. It's what it makes me breathe.
And how did you discover this passion? What happened to, I mean, it sounds like you had a varied life, an exciting, adventurous life. Was it in those times of pain that you said, no, this is really what I want to do? I mean, did you change your mind a few times?
No, what I'm doing now I've always done.
Right.
And I think I talk a little bit about that in the book. Why Relationship Building is My Life is the name of the chapter.
Right.
It's something I've done all my life. I love people. I love to see what makes people tick. I love to find out what makes them tick. I want to get inside their mind. I have this passion for finding out everything I can about people.
Yeah.
And by doing that, I can support them to achieve what they want to achieve. Because I believe that everybody has a dream. And I believe everyone should have the opportunity to realize that dream.
Yes, definitely.
And that's why I mastermind.
Yeah.
Because it means I've had well over 100 people now go through my groups. And I believe that everyone has that potential to reach that dream if they want it. But it's getting people to understand the steps they have to take to get that.
Yes, exactly. I was going to say you're good at finding out about people. I was thinking you'd be good on radio interviewing people.
Well, I actually have a radio station that I linked into, and I was going to do weekly talkbacks, but I just didn't have the time.
Yeah, you've got too many other things on the boil.
I have because I have different businesses and I have so many different things, and the writing of the book is probably, for me, is maybe 10% of my time.
And what is the main focus of the book? What's the main message of the book, and what can people expect to find when they read the book?
Well, it's written for small business people. And that's, to me, what it's all about. It's for the people out there that I call the entrepreneurs who are courageous or crazy enough to be in business for themselves, because I believe we have to have quite a bit of craziness in us. Yes. And you have to be very courageous, because being in business is tough, and it gets tougher and tougher because times are changing. There's plenty of people out there who do exactly what everybody does, but you've got to be better. And if you're not authentic, if you're not your true, real self and show that to people, you won't be the best out there at what you do.
So if you're talking to someone who has a restaurant, like a cafe, let's say,
yep,
in a street where there is 1 million cafes, and that's very much Sydney, you go down to any of the beaches and there's like 1 million cafes. Which one is busy and which one is not? They all serve food and coffee. So what's the difference between one and another? What do you think the difference is?
It's the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
It's the way people are greeted.
Mm-hmm.
The human touch that is within the place. Because if you walk into a place and you are embraced in some form, by the people when you walk into a place and you're greeted and people are nice to you and they want to know you and you're the only person in their place from their perspective at that moment when they're talking to you, you'll go back there.
Yes, definitely.
You give good service,
Yeah.
you have good coffee, you have good food. If you treat people as if they're walking into your home, you'll get them because that's when you're going to be authentic.
Yes.
That's when you're going to be real. You must have the front person out there who's going to be greeting people in there, who want to be there, who have a smile on their face.
If you're the boss, say, you're the entrepreneur, the business person, and you're not going to be at the premises all the time, you have to have staff that do that. So what would you say to business people about finding staff that do that? That's a big challenge for business owners, is their staff. How do you find staff?
Well, firstly, you have to find out who they are.
Yeah.
And you can do that. There's something called wealth dynamics profiling. And I use it in my masterminding. I've done profiling for 30-odd years, and I don't believe there's anything that is like wealth dynamics. It gives you the opportunity to find out what people's innate gifts are.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want someone working in your place if they don't have the innate gift for what it is they need to be doing. For a lot of people, depending on their background, if they've been in government, institution, that sort of thing, they're going to be very rounded, but that's not who innately they are.
Mm.
So it's a matter of finding who are you innately, what is your learnt skills that you have learnt to do, and you've learnt to do them so well. But what happens with people, if they're doing only their learnt skills, they will burn out. If you do your innate skill, whatever that is, you will be doing your passion.
So somebody who's innately talkative, let's say, and they're put in a position where they get to talk to people. That's what you're talking about, yeah.
So if somebody's not into customer service and they don't like people, you're not going to have them as your waitress. I believe from a wealth dynamics perspective, every business has to have three components. When you go into a corporation, they have all these different departments. And in each department, you have somebody who is skilled at doing whatever that department is there for. Small business is exactly the same. You have to have all those departments. But the person running the business has got to be smart enough to know, how do I get the other two profiles other than mine that need to be in my business for it to be successful? And when they understand who they need to find, and if they're in small business and they haven't got the cash flow, they can barter, they can collaborate, they can joint venture. There are other ways around it. And when you learn those other ways, it'll change your business. You can't help but be successful.
Good advice. Great advice.
And unfortunately, people who are in business on their own and they don't have people who have got the skills to do the things that they don't do, or that they can't do, or they find very difficult, if they don't get someone else to do those things, they will burn out. You're talking to an expert, remember?
I'm talking to a burnout expert.
So you've got to do what you love. And this is where social media today is so wonderful. I love social media. I have 22 social media sites.
22, Jenny.
And then I have all my websites and everything else as well.
I thought I had too many sites, but you beat me by a long shot.
Well, I think, I spend a minimum of 6 hours a day personally. And then I have somebody who works full-time on my sites.
And what sites have you got? So you've obviously got Facebook, Twitter, Google.
Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Pinterest, LinkedIn.
Gosh.
I have a VA. I think I drive him crazy.
Yeah, there are a stack more of them. I get overwhelmed with them all. I used to tweet a lot.
With Twitter, I'm not a Twitter person. For me to talk say something in 140 characters is pretty difficult. Because I like to tell a story.
Yeah.
I'm very much into understanding people's profiles, understanding their sensory style. What is your love language? Because I believe your personal love language is still what you use in business.
Yes.
People come past me, they know I'm a kinesthetic visual. I'm a touchy-feely. I'm going to hug you. I'm going to want to love you. I'm going to want to make you feel very comfortable. I want you to just be who you are. But I also know that if it's an introvert, I'm not going to touch them straight away. I'm going to do the best I can to make them very comfortable. I'm going to treat them very differently. Because languaging is what will tell you what someone is also. Their physical languaging as well as their verbal languaging.
It's interesting.
And if you read people and you read people well enough, and people will give you the signs if you know what you're looking for, you will then communicate with them. There's no sense in me talking to someone who's an auditory person, and I'm not auditory at all. I have virtually no auditory in me at all. So schooling for me was difficult because I don't hear it. But I make sure my clients, and I tell it to everybody I meet, I am not auditory. I'm a kinesthetic visual. I need to experience. I'm an experiential learner. But for auditory, people. If the speaker who does not understand the individual learning styles of people, they're going to give their message across and only a percentage of people are going to get it. So it's learning to use your language. And so when I write, anyone who reads my book, I talk a lot about I see it, I feel it, I hear it, because for me, I want to get my message across to everybody using the language that they're going to connect with. And I speak like that also, very much into who I'm talking with. So I know they're hearing me in what is their way of hearing it or experiencing me as they need to experience me, be it from the colours I wear, because I'm an extrovert and I wear a lot of, as you've probably seen the cover of my book. That's me. I'm a big colour person. But if I'm working with somebody who's an introvert, I tone down. I don't wear as brighter colours. I change what I'm wearing. I go more southern. At my mother's funeral, I decided at the day of her funeral, I said to my dad, I am not going to wear black and grey. And I said, my mother never saw me wearing those colours, so I'm not going to wear it for her funeral. And he said, you wear whatever you want. And I said, I want my mother to know I'm there. So I did tone down into pastels, but there was a comment from a Victorian saying, you can guess who the Queenslander is here. Because I'm a big energy. I'm colourful. That's what I am. It's understanding who you are and how whoever you are affects other people.
Absolutely.
And people have to be authentically who they are. Because if I tried to be somebody else, people would pick it up because I'd be thinking about what I'm going to say or what I'm going to do. I wouldn't be natural.
Too true, Jenny, too true. You say in your bio on How to Write a Book in 40 Hours that we all have within us hidden fears, doubts and worries. We are a reflection of the people we are associated with. If they are negative, we become negative.
That's right.
If they are positive, we become positive, and the positive rubs off too. What do you think would be the most hidden fear for people that want to start their own business? What would be that hidden fear, do you think?
Failure.
Fear of failure?
Well, for a lot of people, it's a fear of success.
Fear of success.
In fact, I think it's probably more a fear of success. And here again, for most people, it's depending where you were in the first maybe 8 years of your life. What was put into your mind? Were they very positive or were they very negative influences? I was very blessed. I had very, very positive. I never heard a raised voice. I never heard my parents fight or scream at each other. Well, they didn't do that. But I was in a very loving environment where it was explained to us why things weren't the right thing to do. So I had very positive. So I'm very positive about everything in life. I believe life is just wonderful. It's all one big learning experience. So I can be a better me.
Absolutely. So you would say to people that run their own business, your business is going to be a reflection of your hidden fears, doubts and worries.
Oh, of course.
I remember a girl years ago who was a business owner. She'd just opened a cafe up near where I lived at the time. And it was a beautiful cafe. It was organic food and it was beautifully presented. And she said to me she'd always had a fear that nothing that she does ever is going to succeed. And so I said, well, you have to change that one because you can't go into business with that fear. Everything I do, I fail at. That was her fear. Yeah. And eventually the cafe did close and it was a great cafe. But when she came up against problems, that fear of everything I do fails anyway stopped her from actually finding creative ways to overcome problems. Yeah. Like, because she was in a local area, people said, if you stock milk and the paper and things that we could just buy because we haven't got a corner shop nearby, that would be great. And she says, no. I sell organic food and I'm going to stick to my guns. And so there were these creative things presented to her, but I think this underlying belief sabotaged it, which was a shame.
It is a shame. And there would have been ways around that for her.
Definitely.
But here again, that was her learnt behaviour from when she had been a child.
Yeah.
And she had not realised that that could be turned around.
That's right, yeah.
And everyone has to have a good therapist and a good mentor and a good friend or friends. We need all those people in their life. I'm very blessed. I have the most incredible circle of friends. I believe people are a reflection of the 5 people who are closest to them.
That's interesting.
Who you associate with is who you will become.
Or is it who you are?
Well, I think you become, because if you're with people who are negative, you become negative. You can't not be anything else because that's all you ever hear and experience. So if you can be with people who are positive, who are learning, who believe in knowledge, who are into growth, who want to be the best they can be, you will be that. You can't not be it if they're the influences around you.
Absolutely, Jenny. Absolutely.
I was very fortunate. For 4 years I worked with Jim Rohn, and I don't know if you know who
Oh,
Jim
yeah, Jim Rohn,
was.
fantastic. Yeah. He died
He
recently.
died about 4 years ago.
4 years ago. Gee,
and
time
he was the
flies.
most phenomenal man, and that's why he is known as the business philosopher for the 20th century.
Yeah.
He was an incredible man.
Fantastic.
He was the most authentic human being you could ever meet.
Really?
He was somebody, didn't matter what time of the day it was, where he was never different. Jim was Jim. He lived no pretenses. He had a lot of money, but he didn't live in the big houses. Or he had his old father with him till nearly the end. He drove the same old car. He was not into pretense. He was real. And when I watch people out there who earn a bit of money and then they get the flash car and they have the this and they that, it tells me a lot about people. You learn about people when you watch how they manage their money, where their generosity is, what it is they need to be fulfilled in themselves. Money is just an energy. I didn't write my book for that. That's not what it's all about. I probably give more away than anything else because it's about getting people a message, because I'm passionate about my message. It's not about the glitzy things. It's not about all those shiny objects. And unfortunately, we live in a world that seems to think you have to have those.
How lucky for you to work with Jim Rohn. That would have been fantastic.
Yeah, he was an incredible man. I work with the greats of business as well as the greats in personal development, the spiritual area. You know, I've been very blessed with the people I've worked with and the people I've personally brought into the country who have been incredible human beings. And I'm blessed every day. I have the most incredible experiences. I meet the most wonderful people. I'm just so very grateful. My gratitude for my life is
awesome.
And
authentic.
Well, I'm one of those people, what you see is what you get. Like it or love it, as I say to people, not everyone's going to like you. Get over it. You're not going to like everyone. They've got to get over it because it's not your business anyway.
Yeah.
It's a matter of just being who you are, because everyone isn't for everybody. We're all different. Go and find where your own tribe is.
Oh, Jenny, a great message. What else can people expect to find in awesome authenticity?
I educate people how to build business relationships using networking. Word-of-mouth marketing is their main marketing tool. I believe that if people can learn how to be a very, very good networker, build very, very good business relationships, when they learn the skills, and I do a full-day workshop just teaching what I call the very, very basic skills of relationship building, you can then become, after a lot of time of honing those skills, you go to what I call a net weaver. And net weaving is all about developing the tapestry of relationships, your tapestry of life, and who you bring into your life as a result of that. Because if you're going to be a good networker, it's all about what can I do for you, not what's in it for me. And I believe if you can go out and always, when you're networking, find what you can do for someone else and forget about who you are, you will always have what you want. Your life will bring you what you want, because if you help people, they're going to help you. It's a two-way street. But most people, when they're networking, go out there and they want to shove a business card in your face and they want to talk about themselves and what they do until everyone's eyes glaze over. And it's learning how to work that relationship and learn what you need about another person by asking the right questions. How can I help you?
Yeah.
What do you need? Who do you need to meet? Where do you need to go?
Yeah.
What's your niche market? There's a whole series of things. And if you can find out that from somebody, you can then develop the relationship with them. You can then support them. And if you've supported them, and it doesn't even necessarily mean in their business, it could be find the good plumber. It really doesn't matter what it is. People remember you.
Yes.
Because you've supported them.
Absolutely.
So if your aim as a networker is to support others to achieve what it is they need to achieve, you will automatically happen, because I believe the universe balances. You will always have what you give. I believe you have tenfold.
Yeah.
But when you become very proficient at relationship building, you become what I call the net weaver. And I actually have a business called Net Weaving. And it is all about helping people go to that next level, so that instead of networking, you're net weaving.
Net weaving.
And you're weaving relationships. I spend a lot of time every day referring people, finding people for people because they're needing it. So because I'm a people connector, people automatically come to me asking, do you know someone? Where can I get this? How do I do that? because they know that if I can't help them, I will be able to find the person who can help them.
Wow.
I have very, very large networks.
Fabulous.
From all walks of life, because that's what life is all about for me. But if you can become the net weaver, you will change your life again. You'll go up to another step. And it is all about weaving relationships within your life.
Into your tapestry.
It's the tapestry of life. And we all have a tapestry. How colourful is your tapestry?
I love that.
And it's as colourful as the people you let into it.
Beautiful. What a beautiful message. I love that, Jenny. Thanks for that.
That's my pleasure.
You said you've got a million sites. Which one would you like people to go to? Where can people find out more about you?
Well, it depends. If they're in business, on LinkedIn, Jennie Gorman. If they like to socially chat, they can go to Jennie Gorman on Facebook, or Jennie Gorman, the People Connector on Facebook. That's another one. I have a Facebook site for Awesome Authenticity, so it's facebook.com/Awesome Authenticity. I work a lot in the alternative health areas as well, so I have a site for that. So depending what people are looking for, I'm happy to link with people anywhere. I do have JennieGorman.com.
There you go. There's another one, JennieGorman.com.au. Where can people find your book, Awesome Authenticity, Mastering Business Relationships?
Okay, they can get it on howtowriteabook.com/Awesome Authenticity.
But you'll have a link to that probably on Facebook and your site, Jennie Gorman.
I do. They can find out about it on the facebook.com/Awesome Authenticity.
Fantastic. Jenny, it's been such a joy talking with you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Karen. It's been wonderful to speak with you, and I look forward to doing it again sometime.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Jenny.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
The fabulous Jennie Gorman there. If you want to find out more about Jenny, go to her website, Jennie Gorman, spelt JENNIE, Gorman, GORMAN.com.au.